Well, it's about Frank, my son-in-law.
Well, what about him? Spit it out.
I don't know how to tell you, but...
Herb. Hello, Lieutenant. You know Sergeant Joe Williams.
Sergeant?
Mr. Maris?
What are you doing here this hour of the night?
The Carthay Tool and Die Company ring a bell with you?
Loud and clear. It was robbed last night. $30,000 missing from the safe. The guard was shot.
Dead?
No, it looks like he'll be okay.
Why? Do you know who did it?
Two punks. A couple of witnesses saw them drive away. It was a stolen car, abandoned.
Think it was an inside job?
Who sent you here?
A very frightened young man who claims he had nothing to do with the crime.
Young man named Frank Harback? I thought so. It adds up. When I heard about the robbery, I pulled Frank's file. 6 years ago, when he was in trouble, he was involved with Nick Mason and Freddie Olstead.
Those are the two names he mentioned.
That's what you've been trying to tell me all evening. Sorry, Joe. Looks like these three are our boys.
Now, just a minute. Let's not start jumping to conclusions. Harback claims he was innocent, and he could be. Your witness said there were only 2 men involved in that robbery.
Why didn't he come to us?
They also threatened to harm his wife if he came to you. Now, consider his position. A man with a record, a wife in jeopardy, no alibi for the time of the crime. And if you arrest Mason and Olstead, they threaten to involve him in the crime.
But we can't let him run loose.
I'm only telling you what I was told. At least give his wife protection until you can pick them up.
Lieutenant, let me take care of the protection end of it.
Okay, Joe.
All right, Herb, what about Harback? How soon can you get him here?
Within an hour. Time is a relative factor. When danger threatens, minutes become precious. And Lieutenant Weston became worried when a half hour past the deadline, I hadn't returned with Frank Harback.
And I remember that last night when I got home, the chain was on the door. I heard Frank in the kitchen slamming the drawers.
Why'd you beg the department?
Some good advice I got about never letting a quarrel last more than 24 hours. I wanted to believe him. I wanted him to tell me that I was wrong. Then I go in the kitchen and I find things.
You know your husband is now.
No, and furthermore, I don't.
And furthermore,
care.
you listen to me, Cindy. There's more than your husband involved in this. There's a friend of mine, Herb Maris, a lawyer. Your husband went to him for help.
What was he doing with Nick and Freddie?
Nick and Freddie threatened him, and they also threatened you. I'm sorry. Now with the money missing and all, no penny, no... Answer the door.
Who is it?
This is Harback. I'd like to talk to you.
Just a moment.
Get up again. Turn around.
Where's Nick Mason? We'll find him, Freddie.
But when, Lieutenant? If I'm not back by 3 o'clock. Certain. What's the time, Lieutenant?
You don't have much time, Junior. We don't make any deals here. If anything happens to Herb Maris or Harback, you're going to be up for murder as well as armed robbery. You remember that.
You're a lot of talk. How are you going to tie me with this Harback and Maris? I got the greatest alibi. You. I'm nowhere near the scene of the crime. No rough stuff, please. None of that police brutality.
Lieutenant, can I talk to you? Please, Lieutenant.
Oh, I don't mind, please. Please, please, Lieutenant.
No, we're not going to have none of that.
I'll make him talk. I guarantee I
Now,
will.
listen to me, Joe. You know the rules. You know them better than anybody else.
Don't give me that rules routine.
Listen, no, as long as I'm running this department, you'll obey orders.
But I can make him talk. I'll break his neck.
Any more of that and you face suspension.
Suspension? I got news for you. 20 years on the force and I can't even protect my own family? Here, I'm through. I quit.
Cool down, Joe. Now listen to me. I got an idea. 5 more minutes. Just give me 5 minutes and I'll come back and we'll talk it over. All right?
It's good to see you, Lieutenant.
Check him and get him out of here.
How'd you get Freddie to talk?
Sergeant Joe Williams, what a performance. He had me going for a while. I'll tell you about it sometime. What happened here?
You should have seen Mr. Maris work him over, Lieutenant. It was beautiful.
Oh, you did this?
With words, Lieutenant, with words.
Lieutenant.
Yeah.